If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube and membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. Ha! It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kickin' session. Today I've got Crypto Wendy O. I'm glad to have her on because we had a great conversation on her channel. If you guys missed that, I'll link it in the description below. But where did we even meet, Wendy? I don't even know how we met.
I don't know. See, I think the way it goes is when you're in crypto, we've got such a small community. Everybody knows each other. And the more friends you make, the more people you hang out with, you talk with, you network with, just the better. It works out better for everybody.
Absolutely. So you guys, Wendy is a phenomenal crypto personality. She does everything crypto. She has a website as well. I'll put that on the view right now. But tell us a little bit why you picked this song. I always have my guests pick a song. You were like, oh, okay, this is great. So you shocked me with the whole classical jazz thing. Tell us why this song here, When the Saints March In.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys know this about me, but my grandpa was a jazz drummer. He wasn't famous or anything like that, but he loved jazz, and he was from Sicily. He immigrated here to the United States. So when I was growing up, before he passed away, he always had some sort of jazz Sinatra music on. And this morning, I'm just kind of vibing. And when I just vibe and relax, I like to listen to old classical jazz. It just makes you feel good. And
Nice.
My mom also, she lived in New Orleans for a little bit,
Okay.
and yeah, so I listen to all different types of music. I am not exclusive. I'm not like only rap or only country or only
Right.
punk. I like to if it's got good beat, if it has soul, I'm there.
I hear that. It's gotta have soul for me.
Mhm.
Definitely. So again, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. And what do you feel like right now is on your radar, whether it be crypto related, vaccine, whatever, political? I talk about it all here.
Okay.
So let me know what's on your radar and what are you feeling like right now is the most pertinent topic that people should know about, right?
I'm not trying to get canceled today.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get canceled on my show.
I do lots of different stuff, and there's a lot going on. Crypto's kind of slow right now because you're a trader yourself, and we got that consolidation right under 20K, and it's just driving everybody absolutely bananas.
Yep.
What else? So there's that, and also just kind of chilling right now. Nothing too exciting with that. And then of course there's everything going on with all the political stuff with the election and with this vaccine. And I'm just kind of watching all this stuff from afar. I'm doing what I can to help my local community. I support my local boxing gym and all the kids there. And once everything is open up and running, I'm excited to announce I'm going to be hosting like a little event there, getting these kids some Bitcoin, getting them free Bitcoin, and they can, learn about crypto that way. So I'll be able to do some presentations there and help the underdogs, help my old city out. But, just kind of vibing, supporting my small businesses and just here. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, same. It looks like the elections are finally over. I don't know how you feel about that whole situation, but we're heading into a new presidency, and so I've been watching that, the whole coronavirus situation and the vaccine. I'm not too comfortable with it. I'm gonna be honest with you, taking it. I don't know how you feel. I don't know how bad is the virus over in your area? You're in California, right? Southern Cal?
Yeah, so supposedly it's really bad, but I had an accident on Thanksgiving. My daughter, she fell and she broke her arm 15 minutes before guests were going to come. And she's doing fine now, but we had to take her to 2 hospitals to get her arm, fixed. And there was nothing going on at either of the 2 hospitals that we went to. Also, too, if you guys don't know this about me, I worked in healthcare for 7 years prior to doing crypto. And I worked in infectious disease with HIV/AIDS patients. And I remember one of my clients telling me I don't know if he's still living because he was older and whatnot, but about 5 years ago, last time I saw him, he came in to get his stuff, and he was one of the second oldest living men in the world with HIV/AIDS.
Oh, wow.
So he told me, and he was one of the ones that contracted it directly from the gentleman who supposedly brought it over. But he had told me like what they used to do, and they used to do not testing, but they used to just hook them up with all kinds of crazy stuff in doctors' basements, because everybody was scared. People didn't know what to do. So he just said, always be careful what you put in your body. And
Mm,
that kind of stuck with me, because a lot of my clients that I worked with that ended up passing away, it wasn't from HIV/AIDS. It was from the other medications that they were putting in their body, and the other side effects that they got. A lot of HIV medication um, gave them cancer, and they had stomach problems, and they got
mm.
diabetes, all kinds of crazy, all kinds of stuff. So
So it
I,
sounded like you're not going to be taking that vaccine.
you know what, this is me. I'm very down the middle with everything.
Okay.
I like to hear both sides of the story. I like to listen to people. I like to learn, and I like to make my own assumptions. And I think that that's
Mm-hmm.
important. That's a value that I'm teaching my daughter, is to
Right.
listen, to pay attention to people, be respectful. But if you have an opinion, stand your ground. And me personally, I don't take the flu vaccine because I want my body to be able to fight it itself.
Yeah.
Um, and if you're going to get sick, you're going to get sick. Like it's going to happen. And I do the other vaccines, and I've had my daughter vaccinated with that stuff. But as far as the CV vaccine, I don't feel comfortable getting it or giving it to my child, because it hasn't been tested long enough. And there's always side effects with medication. And a lot of people don't understand, because I did pharmacy for, when I worked in healthcare for 7 years, and a lot of people don't understand, if you want to take a pill for one thing, there are side effects.
Right.
Whatever you put into your body, there's going to be a reaction. And that's just like with anything in the world. Like if I was to throw this pen against the wall, I'm going to throw the pen against the wall, but there could be paint chip. I can get pen on the wall. I can get pen on the floor, like ink on the floor. So there's always a reaction that might be bigger than the initial action that you're doing.
Yeah. For every action, there's a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I totally agree. I'm kind of like down the middle too. I'm not one of those anti-vac people. Like I don't. We don't do any vaccines. But our family, I never take the flu vaccine
Mm-hmm.
every year. Never take that. And I'm not going to be taking this COVID vaccine simply because there's just not enough research done.
Exactly.
They've only been, trying to make a vaccine for what, 8, 9 months? We don't know. That's not long term side effects, you know? So we don't know what the long term side effects are from that whole situation. So that's why I'm going to kind of wait. And I mean, I had the virus back in March. So I'm immune right now. We don't know how long that stuff lasts. But yeah, I can't get down with the vaccine. I
Yeah.
can't get down with it.
Let me just add this in too. Is when I worked in healthcare, we used to do the rapid HIV testing at our site, and it took them a long, long time to get a regular HIV test first and foremost. Then I want to say it took about another decade to get like an hour HIV test. And then it took a couple more years to get the rapid test, the 15-minute test. And then it took another couple of years to get the minute test perfected, to where you can come in, you would get your results in a minute. So the fact that, HIV is it's a big thing. And the fact that with that, they weren't able, not only are they not able to find a cure, but they couldn't even it took them like 20 plus years to perfect the test. What does that say about all this other stuff? That's
Yeah.
all I'm doing, is I'm just applying my thinking from working in healthcare
Mm-hmm.
to the current stuff. And I'm just a little concerned, because I care about what I put in my body. If I didn't,
Right.
I would be on the streets trapping, having a good old time, but
Right.
I care about what I put in my body. I don't drink every day. I try to eat as healthy as possible. I try not to eat processed foods, and I don't know enough to put that thing in my body or my child's body.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. So what's going on with? Like, are you still following the whole HIV/AIDS epidemic? As far as where we've gotten with it, there are these new pills that you can take now before
Mm-hmm.
sexually interacting with individuals. Like,
Pep
are
and prep.
we okay? Right. So what's going on with that whole situation, and why has it taken this long to get here? Do you think it's money related?
I'll tell you this. For at least in California, and I'm probably sure this is elsewhere, Medi-Cal Medicaid covers brand only when you want to get this stuff approved. And we're
Oh,
talking about brand medication. We're talking about maybe $5,000 a month. And this is not just restricted to HIV/AIDS. This is restricted to anything. And if you want to get the government to, if you're on government assisted healthcare, which I got no problem with that. Everybody's got their own business. They got their own life.
right.
But the fact that government only covers brand medication and not generic medication, that's a red flag to me. And that's saying something. If you wanted to get, when I used to have to get the generic stuff approved, it was a nightmare. They would want to approve brand only, and brand was a big difference. So as far as the HIV/AIDS stuff, I haven't really been following it too much. I do have friends that are positive, and
Mm-hmm.
I do talk to them, but I don't really talk to them about that because it doesn't really define who they are. They're just regular people.
Right.
But I have heard from my clients when I worked in healthcare that Europe does treatment differently than the United States. There's some doctors in Europe that request patients take they take their cocktail every other day instead of daily because the
Mm.
stuff is so strong. So there's different methods around the world. Obviously, if you are positive, you need to make sure you talk to your doctor. But a lot of the medication is very toxic for patients, and it does help with
Mm.
one aspect, but then you're getting all these other things. And the PEP and the PrEP, there's also a big debate within the HIV/AIDS community about that, because some people are like, okay, if you're just giving this stuff out and people know that they can just be irresponsible sexually, then they're going to continue to do so. So some of the
Mm.
community is like, no, we don't like this. Other people are like, this is amazing, this is good. But at the same time, when you're putting that Truvada in your body, I think that's what they use for PEP and PrEP now. When you're putting that in your body daily and just instead of foregoing protection or whatever it is, it does damage to your body. It does give you some mental health issues. Almost all my clients had, they were on some sort of antidepressant due to their
Really?
yep. So, and I actually never had a client that passed away from HIV/AIDS. It was from cancer and suicide.
Like you said, every action has a reaction, right? So
Mhm.
people have to really keep that in mind. I didn't even think about the communities that will be against the prep
Yeah,
stuff
because
for that reason.
they
Yeah.
feel like it's kind of enabling that type of behavior, because people nowadays, we have everything at we have information at the access of our fingertips. We're a generation that's more, we want it now, we want it fast. So instead of taking the extra step and maybe protecting yourself in other ways, or maybe waiting a little bit or doing things a little bit differently, we're impulsive, and that kind of breeds that drug or that treatment kind of breeds that type of behavior. That was one of the arguments that they said. And I would get some clients that would come in that would come tell me some stories about their wild night, and it was like they were taking the morning after pill, and I'm like, I wasn't there to judge them, but it would be the same people coming in every week, and I'm like, you guys know what this is doing to your body, right? They're like, oh well, I'm
Mm.
still young, it's okay. And I'm like, okay.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So let's talk about a little bit about crypto. Your
I know, let's
crypto
not bore
Wendy.
everyone.
Right. Let's not scare everyone away.
I'm like,
Stay tuned, people. uh, so crypto, you started it at what, in 2018, kind of?
I started end of 2017, and I bought so many tops I can't even begin to tell you.
Okay. So hey, that lets me know you're really in it to be in it. So kind of tell us a little bit because this is your first time on the show. What intrigued you? Who invited you or introduced you to crypto? Kind of give us that backstory.
So it's actually pretty interesting. My stepson, he's older because my husband's a little bit older. My husband was married previously before we had got before we were together. And
Okay.
so his son was at our house. He was staying for the summer or whatever, and he's like, "Can I use your credit card to buy Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "No."
Hmm.
I was like, "You're not." This was in like 2011, 2012, maybe 2010. I don't remember. I was like, "No." Because I didn't even think I had a credit card then. So I heard about it then. I knew it was for doing some shady stuff online. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't judge. I'm not here to judge anyone. Then I kept hearing about it on libertarian radio, and I was like, this is cool. This kind of aligns with me because I'm libertarian. I'm just right down the middle. And
Okay, I didn't know that. All right.
yeah, I'm like right down the middle. I'll listen to both sides, and I'm not here to
Mm-hmm.
judge anyone, but my just as long as my child is safe and protected, you can believe in whatever the hell you want to believe in. I don't care.
Right.
But
Right.
anyways, And don't tell me what to do. I don't like when people tell me what to do or assign me
Mm.
to specific groups and be like, oh, well, you have to think this way because you're this. But anyways, so then end of 2017, I was really looking for a change. I was going to quit my job anyways to finish school. And then I bought Bitcoin. I was like, okay, I got to try something, whatever. And so I did, and then price went up. I was like, this is so cool because I bought like
Mm.
$1,000 worth. And then of course I started diversifying into alts a little bit, and then those got completely wrecked. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'm going to need to do something different because I shouldn't be losing money. I'm not working right now. And so I did. Then I taught myself how to trade because I saw all these cartoon characters on twitter.com that were posting all these crazy gains. I was like, if they could do it, I can do it. So then I
Mm-hmm.
taught myself how to trade, and then that was that. And now I can, kind of look at a chart and, decide for myself if I should buy or exit or sell or whatever.
Mm. Okay. All right. So, do you? What's your strategy? What technical strategies do you um implement in your day? Do you trade daily?
Oh
Do
no.
you trade like you swing trade? How
Yeah.
do you trade?
I'm more of a swing trader now. When I first started, I used to do a lot of day trading just because I had more time. But now I've got the channel and I've got the podcast and I've got the company and I've got all these different things that I do. So swing trading is good for me. Like I was able to ride that whole entire move up from, I think it was 10.5. We started rocketing up to like
Yeah.
19.9. I got in around at 11.5 because I was scalping a little bit prior. So I was able to get in and ride it up. I want to say to like 18.5, and I closed. And I've just and then my daughter broke her arm on Thanksgiving, so I've kind of just been chilling, watching the market. But
Gotcha.
it's super choppy right now, and unless you're actively scalping, I'm kind of like want to stay away and just kind of look at alts and play with alts a little bit. But generally, I used to use a lot of indicators, but now when it comes to Bitcoin, I do mostly naked charting. And if you guys don't know what that means, it's basically using support and resist. Yeah, similar to that, using support and resistances and kind of paying attention to trend lines and whatnot. And then when I do alts, I like to use EMAs because it's a pretty good strategy if you got the 9, the 21, the 50, the 100, and the 200, especially on lower time frames. You can use those pretty well, and they work pretty accurately.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts about Bitcoin from a regulatory standpoint? I don't know if you saw that Brian Armstrong was talking about that he possibly was going from Coinbase, CEO from Coinbase,
Mm-hmm.
is going to possibly have to start whitelisting addresses, external addresses, like so you won't be able to send your funds from a Coinbase to another address unless you actually can verify the identity of that person who owns that address. Something crazy.
Right.
We're going down that rabbit hole. We're going down that direction. Is that good? Is it even possible for them really to control it? What are your thoughts on that whole situation and where we're
So
going regulatory wise?
I'm on TikTok a lot.
Okay.
And there's not a whole lot of knowledge as to what Bitcoin is, why it's important. People are just screaming XRP, which that's totally fine too.
Oh man,
And
that's
that's fine, but like people are like, I fight with people 24/7 about it. They're like, XRP is decentralized, it's going to be used with the banks, and I know for a fact that
oh
it's
my
not going to be used with banks because I've interviewed Jason Brett, which is he's in a focus group helping Rashid Tlaib and all those other people with the state. Anyways, so they don't have a lot of understanding of the importance of decentralization and privacy and the power of Bitcoin. So I think a lot of folks will just do it because they don't know any better. Is Coinbase doing that bad for the state or for the crypto space? Yes and no. Well, there has to be some way where we can find a happy medium, and
right,
and
exactly.
just be like, you seem a lot very similar to me. Like, you're very chill, you like to vibe, you like to hear other perspective, but you also understand we don't get to have it all of our way, and we can't just say, oh, we're going to say F the banks, F the Fed, because it doesn't work that way. We
It
have to
doesn't.
there has to be a happy medium somewhere.
And you can't have over the years, Wendy. I've realized because when I got into crypto, it was after banks. It was be your own bank fully and fully decentralized, right? Like 100%. And as the years have gone by, we've seen various incidents from the Dow hack to other situations that have happened in crypto where you find out, wait a minute, fully decentralized doesn't work because if there's an issue, you have no recourse, no way to roll back things and be on one accord when something goes wrong in the network. If you're fully 100% decentralized, it's just going to be over. It's chaos. right? You have no real coordinated way to move around in many cases. So you, like you said, I think it's got to be some. It's a gradient, right? There's no binary, decentralized or centralized. No, it's a gradient, in my opinion.
Right. And then also too, when we're talking about fully decentralized, we're seeing a lot of these DeFi projects. I know
Yep.
a lot of these companies do mean well. They want to do well for the space, but then we're also seeing a lot of bad actors and rug pulls. And
Yep.
I personally love DeFi because you can make a lot of money and I've done okay with it. But at the same time, I've also been rug pulled and I've been scammed myself. And you can't, and the thing about the crypto community that drives me insane is you cannot say F the banks, F the Fed, F
And
the
then
police, all this stuff,
call the
and then
cops when...
and then go call the cops. How are you going to be a cop caller when you're some anonymous
Oh,
cartoon character,
man.
but then you're going to call the cops and then you're going to post crypto Wendio scam me and go post that on Twitter? It's like, really? Like, I didn't scam you. You scammed yourself, and you're placing blame. So if you're really about this decentralization life, be about it. Don't sit there and cry. Exactly. So I'm just like,
it happened this year with the DeFi wave. It happened back in the ICO boom as well. I saw the same. It's so funny. People just, we don't need banks and regulation to raise money. This is the new wave, and then you lose some money. Someone scams you. What do? You call the cops. That's the first thing you do. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I'm just like, because the way I was raised is that you handle your own business and you just deal with it. Like, something happens, you deal with the consequences. So to me, it's just crazy seeing all these people like complain about it. Like, I've been scammed too. People are like, oh, you do this, you do that, you haven't been scammed, like you don't lose money. I'm like, no, I do. I do lose money.
Yeah, absolutely. We all have. If you sit up here, if I hear someone tell me they've never lost bags in crypto, ever been rug pulled, and that's the latest term for the DeFi world, you're lying. You're lying.
Or you're not
lying.
trading, or you're not actively trading it.
Right. Exactly. So where do you see Bitcoin going from here? Like, it looks like I have this trend line that we dipped below very briefly. I thought it was over when we dipped below here. I thought we were heading down to like 16,000, 15,000, but miraculously we got back above this trend line I have drawn here, and it looks like we're trying to make that move again to really officially take out all-time highs. Do you think we really took out all-time highs?
To me, we kissed it, but it's a wick. It wasn't no candle body. Unless you get that thick body up there, to me it's just noise.
Yeah, I agree. On some exchanges they had it touching, past the all-time high, but yeah, I don't really count that one. So it looks like we're building momentum to go try it again. Do you think we're going to actually blow past it this time? If so, or if so, I'll get asked two scenarios. If so, is it a violent move up like to 30,000? That's the next fib extension I have. If not, if we get rejected again, what happens? Are we going to have that like head and shoulders moment where, it's just going to head further down like $15,000, $12,000 Bitcoin?
I like 14. I do, because even if I'm looking at my chart right now. If you toss on the VPVR, like the bottom on the weekly would be like 13.8 to about 12.3, but I like 14. It just seems like a nice, decent correction. And I mean, that would be the bullish scenario. It obviously to break like 16.5 and then dump to like 15K, anywhere to 15 to like 14K. But then my bullish scenario would be for us to kind of to tap on like like you said with the fibs. I think it was what was I looking at? Like 25K would be the next thing. But when I do the fibs, I like to put a line, like a support line in the middle, or resistance line in the middle, because I feel like we need some sort of spacers in between those Fibonacci extensions. So I would call maybe like 22, 23. And then, maybe a retracement back to like 20,000. But like you said, if we actually do break, because we're in a pretty tight, I don't want to call it a super tight range, but anywhere from like 18.3 to 19.9, we've been ranging in that area since week of November 23rd. So for almost a month. So if we shoot up, it's going to be a nice strong move up, but will it sustain? We'll be able to stay above 20,000.
Well, if you see, I hear what you're saying about like November 23rd week, that week, we saw that huge drop off, like from 19.5 all the way down to 16. That's a 3,000 point move down.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that rejection, right? That bounce off of there was really strong for the Bulls. I think we're gonna blow past this thing this go round. I really do.
Yeah.
We'll
I mean,
see.
I
We'll
mean, I
see.
think I think it's a good, I think it's a really strong possibility, but when we're talking about price discovery, especially with Bitcoin, it's a little bit different than when we talk
Hmm.
about price discovery for altcoins because altcoins are a lot more volatile and and they're easier to pump. And when I
Thinner,
say
yeah, thinner
when
trade
yeah,
trading
there's
markets.
it's way thinner. The market cap is way smaller, so you just need you need like a strong group of people that are really interested in a project that can, essentially push that thing up because the market is really excited about it. With Bitcoin, market cap is so big and we're getting all these millionaires coming in, billionaire
Hmm.
millionaires. So it
Yep.
makes it kind of hard and price really has to sustain. And you also have to have buyers in that area with Bitcoin. And do you think like one of the things that I struggle with, and sometimes people are like, Wendy, you're not bullish enough, but to me I'm like, we're in the middle of a like almost towards a recession, we're in the middle of a pandemic, like a lot of people are losing jobs, they're on government benefits, all kinds of stuff, they can't pay their bills, people aren't paying their rent and their mortgages, how are they going to have money to buy Bitcoin at $25,000?
Yeah, they're not. They're not. It's literally going to be all the corporate buying, in my opinion, that's going to be propping this market. That has been propping this Bitcoin market up. I know you know about micro strategies and the,
Mm-hmm.
all the squares and of the world and what other company just bought a big bag?
Matt.
Mass Mutual.
Mm-hmm.
They bought $100 million worth. So those are big purchases. Now I'm sure they're over the counter, but
Yeah.
still, that will pull from somewhere at some point down the line. That supply is being bought up of Bitcoin. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Any other points about the whole crypto space? Where do you see it going in the next year? Just a year.
I think that DeFi is going to pop off again. We're going to get a real alt season. And if you guys are watching this, I don't think it's bad to invest in DeFi, but just understand there's about 10,000 different cryptocurrency projects on the market. More than half of small businesses do fail. And a lot of these crypto
Yep.
projects are I consider them as small
Very very
businesses. I
good
love
point.
entrepreneurs, but please understand these are not long-term holds. You want to get it. If you're going to invest in these things in DeFi, you need to be able to be up 24/7, looking at charts, having alerts on your phone. You got to get to Uniswap fast. And what you do is if you buy the stuff, you invest in it. If it's something that makes sense for you, you get in, you take your profit as fast as possible. If you want to keep a moon bag for staking or farming or harvesting, do
Hmm.
it, but get your profit out of there because the chance of you getting rugged or the project shutting down is very, very high. And at the same, like, yeah, it does suck that these people do this stuff, but at the same time, you do have to take responsibility and know anytime there's fast, easy money, there's a risk associated. So that's all I'm going to say about that is just
Yeah.
whatever you're investing in, know that you can lose it within 60 seconds or less.
Yeah. No, that's good. Good. That's good advice right there. How do you feel Bitcoin plays into and cryptocurrencies play into the internet and the resilience of it? Does it? Do you see a chink in the armor when it comes to cryptos because of the internet? That's the excuse I hear a lot of precious metals people. Well, if the internet goes down, then you can't use your Bitcoin. Well, I mean, if the internet goes down, Bitcoin's the least on my mind.
Exactly. And I'm with you 100% on that. If the internet goes down, I'm worried about securing my family.
Mm-hmm.
That is the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that I'm worried about securing. I will grab my ledger and I will flee and I will
Yep.
be okay. But my first priority is my 4-year-old and my family.
Yeah.
I think maybe because we're parents, we worry
Yep.
about we focus on different things. And I think another thing too is like we have to take into consideration general population. General population could give two craps about technology. They just want
Yep.
to feed their family, they want to pay their bills, they want to have a good quality of life. Yes, Bitcoin is a tool to help with that, but at the same time,
They also got Cash App, right? They also got Venmo. So they don't. Those lines are blurred even more today
mhm,
than they were 5, 6 years ago when there was no Cash App. So
mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, it's really a hard thing. I mean, like I love Bitcoin, but a lot of the some of the arguments these maximalists they give is not really. Maybe it pertains to them because they grew up in an ivory tower and they grew up really well. But to people like myself, like if something happens, I'm securing my kid and that's it. And you guys can go fight about your whatever the hell you're fighting about.
Yeah, I gotta have my guns, my butter, and
My
that's it.
butter.
Guns and butter, baby. Guns and butter. That's what's important at that in a time like that when lights are out, internet is down. Ain't nobody thinking about no Bitcoin, people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely agree with you. I guess any last words to wrap it up? I know you got to get out of here. Let the audience know where they can check you out and how they can get your content. You got really good content.
Thank you. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking the time to have me on. I really appreciate your time. Just you're an awesome person. I'm glad that we're able to connect again. You can find me if you go to Twitter. You can find my link tree, and it's got all my stuff in there. I've got YouTube. I am on TikTok. I'm on Twitter, and yeah, I kind of hang out and vibe and just do all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah.
So you got a new? Is this a new channel that you have? The O Show.
Well,
Tell us
that's it.
about that really quickly.
So the O Show is just my daily YouTube show.
Okay. And then you have another. Do you have
Ye-
something else? You got a podcast going on as well.
Well, I have the Trader Talk podcast, but I don't really, those episodes now are just kind of lax. Like I do them whenever. But my other podcast I run with Hotep Jesus, we talk about love and marriage. And
Yeah, that's dope.
that's not a crypto one. It's just more of like a way for me to just to chill out and to have fun, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, and I'm around, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, and that's pretty much it. Just kind of hanging out.
All right, ladies and gents, make sure you go out and check Wendy's content out. Definitely worth watching. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. Another kicking session, ladies and gents. Wendy O, we out of here. Ha!